we're surrounded by overwhelming beauty all around us. Beauty, physical beauty, intellectual beauty. I've always been fascinated by science. I remember as a kid being an avid reader of the books of how things work, science and technology and biology. I was always interested in knowing how things work. I saw this incredible appeal to understanding. There's a beauty to biology. We see that everything seems to have a purpose. Fingers are meant to bend one way but not the other. Did you know that goosebumps are actually an evolutionary remnant from our ancestors who supposedly had fur? And goosebumps would be a reaction to puff up the fur in order to preserve warmth. There is a beauty to physics and theoretical physics, quantum entanglement, string theories, dark matter and dark energy. There's even a beauty in psychology, to understand that we all have childhood traumas and passions and desires and biases and insecurities, and to see firsthand the power of the human spirit, capable of accomplishing the most amazing feats. There is, of course, the beauty of art, the beauty of music. Music reveals to us a deep connection with reality. It says something about how you're experiencing reality through your emotions, based on a musical piece. There's a beauty of paintings and the beauty of literature. How many times can a book change a person's worldview and a person's life? There's rightfully the beauty of nature. To see the bleeding of a sunset and be moved by it. To take delight on the laughter of a baby, or to just be filled with the first sip of our morning coffee. And all this beauty is captivating. It enamors us. But we can ask ourselves a question: what does it all mean? See, we can understand how things work in all its intricacies and nuances, but what does it mean? It's this question, what does it mean, that drove many people in the history of our faith to study and learn. It's this question that drove a Catholic priest to first propose the theory of the Big Bang, of cosmogenesis. It's this question that first motivated a Franciscan monk to develop the scientific method in the West, or an Augustinian friar to be the founder of modern-day genetics. It's this question that drove the Catholic Church to found the university system of education. What does it mean? Even in the arts, the Church has always been motivated to explore that subjective side of how we experience reality. Many Catholics, and priests included, like Vivaldi, composing works of beauty, driven by this question, what does it mean? And see, while science can give us facts, it pertains to religion to provide us truths, meaning. Tolstoy, the celebrated Russian author, says the following words: "A man may ignore that he has religion and that he has a heart. But without religion, as without a heart, man cannot exist." Religion is the essential worker that interprets facts and imbues those facts with meaning. What is the meaning of all this? See, there are many faithful scientists who are capable of seeing wonder in their work. Other scientists, other artists, are more of the idea that there is no meaning. There's only brute fact, dry, insipid fact. Things are as they are, and there's no more question to it. And the thing about humanity is that we can turn anything into a religion. Because if religion is about giving meaning, and we cannot live, like Tolstoy says, without meaning, we will attribute meaning to whatever we can. Very good things indeed, and we call those things success. So if I find, for example, meaning in ideas and turning them into business, maybe my religion is entrepreneurship. If I find meaning and value in the transmission of ideas and knowledge, maybe that religion will be academia or science. If I find meaning in the accumulation and possession of capital, maybe my religion can be to be a billionaire. If I find meaning exclusively in my image and my talents, well, maybe my religion will be an influencer or a celebrity. If I find meaning or attribute meaning to the improvement of communities and their quality of life, well, my religion could be activism or politics. And all these religions are good. They can be used for good. But they only give temporary meaning. And it ends at the moment of death. They cannot go beyond that. That's where facts end. Why am I saying all this? And how does it relate to the gospel? Well, in the gospel, Jesus calls himself the way, the truth, and the life. Talk about meaning, huh? He is the way. Because we all have a way. We all have a purpose. And that purpose, in the words of Jesus, goes beyond death, transcends death itself. Jesus calls this way the Father's house. He is the way to the Father's house. And he is going before us to show us the way, which is he himself. He calls himself the truth that gives meaning to all things, joys and pains, sunsets and motherhood and morning coffee. He is the life. He is how we experience reality in full HD color. God has given us all a freedom, a capacity. Let's call this freedom the responsibility I have for my own identity. And I can choose what way to walk in. I can choose what truth to live by, and I can choose what life to have. That is my freedom. And I can choose the temporal religions, or I can choose to live by religion that transcends and gives meaning even to death. That is the freedom, the amazing responsibility that God has given us, that I can determine myself. Jesus proposes a way, proposes the truth, and proposes life. So does the world. The world proposes a way, a truth, and a specific form of life. There was this Cardinal Newman, a convert from Protestantism. He was a priest in the Church of England, and he was relentless in his studies. It was his study and his conscience that led him to the Catholic faith. And he gives the following quote. He's looking out from himself, seeing all the truths that the world propose. And he says the following words: I start with the being of God. I start with the being of God, and I look out of myself into the world of men. And there I see a sight which fills me with unspeakable distress. The world seems simply to give the lie to that great truth, of which my whole being is so full. And the effect upon me is, in consequence, as confusing as if I denied that I myself exist. If I looked into a mirror and did not see my face, I should have the sort of feeling which actually comes upon me when I look into this living, busy world and see no reflection of its creator. This is to me a great difficulty. Were it not for this voice speaking so clearly in my conscience and my heart, I should be an atheist or a pantheist or a polytheist when I looked into the world. I'm speaking for myself only, but the general facts of human society do not warm me or enlighten me. They do not take away the winter of my desolation, or make the buds unfold and the leaves grow within me, and my moral being rejoice. Only God warms the heart. If Jesus Christ poses himself as the way, the truth, and the life, that kind of demands a response. We can't just say, well, that's nice, Jesus. Well, thank you. It's also an implicit question. Will you walk this way? Will you live by this truth? Will you live this life? This is an amazing journey Jesus Christ has called us to, but we must decide. Now, next week, we'll talk a little bit about how this looks like. What exactly are we to do to make Jesus our way, the truth we live by, and the life itself? For now, like to Thomas, Jesus is giving us, presenting himself to us, inviting us to have him give meaning to our existence, especially in our way back to the Father. As we continue to celebrate the month of Mary, the month of May, remember all mothers today. We ask our Blessed Mother to show us the way to her Son, to show us the truth, which is her Son, to show us the beauty of living life in her Son. Sacred Heart of Jesus,